Hello Americans channel. This video is made by free videos from Storyblocks, and these images and video we use just for explanation and it's free use also.
During an argument road, husband threw wife out of car 30 miles from home. Karma had the last laugh. A weekend getaway turned into a nightmare for Scarlett when her husband's jealousy spiraled out of control, leaving her stranded 30 miles from home. Little did she know, Karma was about to deliver a surprising twist that would turn the tables and restore her sense of justice. Hi, I'm Scarlett. My husband, Sheldon, and I just returned from what was supposed to be a wonderful weekend getaway. We've been married for 10 years. Most of the time, we get along great. But sometimes, things get tense. This weekend, everything took a turn for the worse. We were driving back from a charming little town where we'd spent 2 days. The sun was shining, and we'd visited lovely places. We enjoyed quaint cafes, beautiful parks, and even a boat ride. It felt like a perfect escape from our busy lives. Sheldon seemed happy, and I was thrilled to see him relax for once. We had a fantastic time until the last day. We had lunch at a cozy restaurant. Our waiter was friendly, maybe a bit too friendly, according to Sheldon. He started making snide comments about the waiter's attentiveness. I laughed it off, but Sheldon's mood shifted. "Why was he so interested in you?" Sheldon asked as we walked to the car. "I think he was just doing his job," I replied, trying to keep things light. Sheldon didn't say much as we got into the car. The drive home was quiet at first. I stared out the window, trying to enjoy the last bits of our trip. But I could feel Sheldon's anger simmering next to me. After about an hour on the road, Sheldon finally spoke. His voice was cold. "I saw the way you looked at him." I sighed, feeling a knot form in my stomach. "Sheldon, I wasn't looking at him in any special way." He gripped the steering wheel tighter. "I doubt you would have held back from flirting if I wasn't around." That comment stung. I turned to face him. "How can you say that? I would never cheat on you." "Well, you sure had a funny way of showing it," he shot back. My heart pounded. "You're being ridiculous. He was just a waiter, doing his job." The argument escalated quickly. We went from a tense silence to shouting in minutes. Every word from Sheldon hurt more than the last. His jealousy was unfounded, but he wouldn't let it go. "You don't understand how it feels," Sheldon continued, his voice rising. "Seeing you smile at another man." "I can't believe this," I said, shaking my head. "I love you, Sheldon. Why can't you trust me?" He pulled the car over suddenly, making my heart leap. "Get out," he said through gritted teeth. "What?" I asked, shocked. "Get out and walk home," he repeated, shouting the words this time, his eyes blazing. I couldn't believe he was serious, but the look on his face told me he wasn't joking. I opened the door, tears stinging my eyes. "Fine," I said, slamming the door behind me. Standing on the side of the road, I watched as Sheldon sped off, leaving me alone. I started walking, feeling a mix of anger and sadness. I couldn't understand how our perfect weekend had turned into this nightmare. Sheldon and I had our issues, but this was beyond anything I'd ever imagined. I started walking along the side of the road. The sun was setting, and the air was getting colder. I shivered, not just from the chill, but from the shock of what had happened. I stuck out my thumb, hoping someone would stop and give me a ride. Cars whizzed past, their drivers glancing at me with curiosity or indifference. My mind raced, replaying the argument with Sheldon over and over. How could he think I would ever cheat on him? His jealousy had always been a problem, but this time it had gone too far. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a car slowed down and pulled over. The driver, a middle-aged man with kind eyes, rolled down the window. "Need a lift?" he asked. "Yes, please," I replied, relief washing over me. "Thank you so much." I climbed into the car, grateful to be off my feet and out of the cold. The driver smiled at me. "I'm Tom," he said. "Where are you headed?" "Home," I replied. "It's about 30 miles from here." Tom nodded and started driving. "Rough day, huh?" "You have no idea," I said, letting out a sigh. "My husband and I had a big fight, and he left me on the side of the road." Tom glanced at me sympathetically. "I'm sorry to hear that. Do you want to talk about it?" As we drove, I told Tom about the weekend, the waiter, and the argument that had spiraled out of control. It felt good to talk to someone, to get it all off my chest. Tom listened patiently, nodding occasionally. "Sounds like your husband has some serious trust issues," he said when I finished. "Yeah," I agreed. "I just don't understand why he can't trust me." We drove in silence for a while, and I stared out the window, reflecting on everything that happened. I loved Sheldon, but his jealousy was tearing us apart. How could we move forward if he couldn't trust me? Suddenly, I spotted a familiar car on the side of the road. My heart skipped a beat. It was Sheldon's car, and there were police lights flashing behind it. "That's my husband's car," I said to Tom. "Can you pull over?" Tom nodded and slowed down, parking behind the police car. I got out and walked towards Sheldon, who was talking to a police officer. He looked surprised and a little embarrassed to see me. "What's going on?" I asked as I approached. The police officer turned to me. "Is this your husband, ma'am?" "Yes," I replied. "What happened?" "He was pulled over for speeding and reckless driving," the officer explained. "This is his third offense, so we're going to have to tow his car and possibly suspend his license." Sheldon looked at me, his face a mix of anger and desperation. "Scarlett, please, can you help me?" I took a deep breath, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Officer," I said, "can I drive the car home? I have a valid license." The officer looked at me for a moment, then nodded. "All right. If you drive, we won't have to tow it. But he's still getting a ticket." I took the keys from Sheldon, feeling a sense of empowerment and justice. This was his mess, and now I was the one bailing him out. As I got into the driver's seat, I couldn't help but feel a surge of satisfaction. Sheldon sat by the side of the road, looking defeated. "Thank you," he mumbled as I started the car. I didn't respond. Instead, I focused on the road ahead, feeling a mixture of relief and triumph. I was in control now. Sheldon needed to understand that his actions had consequences. As I drove away, leaving Sheldon to deal with the police, I felt a strange sense of closure. This wasn't the end of our problems, but it was a step towards reclaiming my strength and independence. Sheldon would have to face his own demons, and I would be there to support him, but only if he learned to trust me. For now, I was content to drive home, knowing that karma had indeed had the last laugh. When Rebecca and her daughter, Layla, set off on a trip, they didn't anticipate the journey would challenge their views on kindness. An unexpected encounter with a stranded man forced Rebecca to confront her fears, leading to a life-changing lesson taught by her brave young daughter. "My name is Rebecca, and I was the kind of person who usually stayed on the sidelines when witnessing injustice or when someone needed help. I was always afraid to stand out and hope that someone else would help or stand up against the injustice. Anyone but me. But that day, I acted differently, and it changed my life forever." It was a sunny Friday morning. Layla and I were heading to my mom's house for the weekend. Layla, my 8-year-old daughter, sat in the front seat beside me. She looked out the window, her face pressed against the glass, clearly upset about the long drive. The road stretched ahead, and I could see her reflection in the rearview mirror. Her eyebrows were furrowed, and she let out a heavy sigh every few minutes. "What's wrong, sweetie?" I asked, glancing over at her. "I'm bored, Mom," she replied, not taking her eyes off the passing scenery. "This drive is taking forever."